What's up, family?
What's up? What's up?
Hey,
I think we can hear Chris on the line. That's why, family, you don't see him on the screen, but he should be on the line. Speaking of that, if anybody wants to call in, do we have the phone number up there where we can?
We do.
Put it somewhere. Okay. 720-740-9699. Put in the passcode 65725. Oh, sorry, 6572569 to be put in the queue.
Awesome. All right. So, what a day today. But before we get into the first AB3121 task force meeting today, let's take a look at what's in the news.
I'm sorry, and Mrs. Sapega, a 23-year-old Russian national, were detained after Belarus scrambled a military jet to escort their plane flying from Athens to Vilnius in neighboring Lithuania. Yeah, it's crazy. And so it looks like Western countries.
Let's see what's going on.
there you go. Yeah. You got it. You got your shot?
Yeah, I just got my shot.
I mean, then I owe you $50.
They cast Ellis as the aggressor, saying he charged as an officer excited a police car. But two witnesses who recorded parts of the fatal interaction came forward with identical stories, saying police attacked without provocation. An officer in the passenger side of a patrol car slammed his door into Ellis, knocking him down, and then jumped on him and started beating him, they said.
The White House.
Your presence here today is making history. You are the first Black woman to stand behind that podium, speaking on behalf of the president in 30 years.
Held that position. Some people are saying that, Simone Sanders again maybe should have been in the running this time after.
Okay, so I have mixed feelings about this. One, I feel like whatever the Tulsa people want, give it to them, first of all. I don't care what they want, give it to them. Whatever the survivors want, give it to them, because they owe more. And so if we got it, give it to them. That's part one.
Patrisse Cullors, Black Lives Matter co-founder, resigns. Patrisse Cullors said Friday would be her last day at the foundation, which she has led for the last 6 years. 37-year-old activist. Finances came under scrutiny last month. All right.
Kyrie Irving launches consulting firm for minority-owned businesses. Let's see here. Kyrie Irving has started a consulting firm. All right, we are back, ladies and gentlemen. In the building. What's up, Kim? What's up, CL? What's going on with y'all?
Satnin.
Hey. Good to see your beautiful black faces.
Good talk. Chris, you still in the building, bro?
Oh, I'm right here, my brother.
All right. Check one, check two. All right, let's I guess get this party started.
Woo.
AB3121 recap in the building. I guess before we get into the talking points, Kim, should we go over some of the slides for the task force?
Certainly.
All right.
Okay, so we met our task force today, our AB3121 task force. Here are Governor Newsom appointments. We had Dr. Cheryl Grills, PhD, 62 of Inglewood. Dr. Amos Brown, THD, 80 of San Francisco. Lisa Holder, JD, 49 of Los Angeles. Donald K. Tamaki, JD, 69 of Piedmont, Dr. Joven Scott Lewis, PhD, 38 of Berkeley. Also on the task force, we have we have the Newsom's appointments, and we also have President Pro Tempore picks. Tony G. Atkins of San Diego appointed Monica Monterey Stepp and Senator Stephen Bradley. And you want to go over this one for us, Shamoya?
All right, so let's talk about some definitions, and then we'll actually, I think in the next slide, we actually have the chairperson and the vice person who got appointed today. So the definition of the chairperson is the presiding officer of an organized group, such as a board, committee, or deliberative assembly. The person holding the office is typically elected or appointed by members of the group, presides over meetings of the group, and conducts the group's business in an orderly fashion. In some organizations, the chairperson is also known as president or other title. In others, where a board appoints a president or other title, the two terms are used for distinct positions. And the chairperson means a non-officer member who may be appointed by the board to take on chairperson's duties if the chairperson is absent for any reason. And I think, do we have the slide of the task force somewhere?
Ta-da!
Booyah. Here we go. Family, looks like that is the task force there. I know Chris is currently not on the live stream, so Chris, I don't know if you could see it.
Oh, I'm watching, my brother. I'm watching. I got 2 YouTubes on right now.
All right. Well, I'm glad you could see it, so you can participate in the visuals. All right. So
yeah, and let me just say real quick, fam. Also, let's not forget also the other. I think there were 2 picks that, and I think we're going to talk about them now. But there are also 2 other picks, right? That are super important to talk about that make the 9-member task force.
Correct. So, Kim, I don't know, or CO, you guys want to just go over the visuals real quick, and then we'll get some feedback from brother Chris.
All right. So we've got Joven Scott Lewis, Don Tamaki, Stephen Bradford, Lisa Holder, Dr. Cheryl Grills, Monica Monterey Stepp, Camilla V. Moore, the chair, Assemblymember Joan Sawyer, and Dr. Amos Brown, the vice chair.
All right. So for those who missed it, Chris, do you want to give the family a little recap and the voting procedure on the chair and the vice chair today, fam?
Yeah, I definitely do. And I also want to encourage folks to go back and watch the live stream that we did today here on ETM Media. And shout out to Kim and Umoya. We sat through like 9 hours of hearings today, right? We were on from like, how long? We were on from like before 10 to like after 4 or something like that. So big shout out to the live streamers, Umoya, Kim, CEO. Big shout out to the whole ETM family here. And also I want to just give a shout out real quick to the family listening and watching right now. Like, you are such a big part of what happened today. People who were in the chat on Blue Jeans, that Zoom thing, right? And then also, we're also on the YouTube live stream, and also people on social media, right? On Twitter and on Facebook and on Instagram, and everywhere else. So I definitely want this to just acknowledge everybody's participation, and really thank everybody. And big shout out to the family who has been working on this bill before it was passed, during the time when it was getting passed, and afterwards, right? A lot of the work has been going on after it got passed, and some of that work was to help the task force pick the right people, right? And also help the task force pick the right chair, right? And I think we got the right chair today. Camilla Moore is the most qualified. She's also the most connected to the community. And she's proven that in her work, both in the community and also as someone who voluntarily, on her own fruition, intentionally went to study reparations and also went to make it real for Black folks. So she is a super choice, and she also brings the youth, right, and the millennial generation. This is a really good model, for what a chair is supposed to look like, right? Someone who comes from the community itself and also is given their life to reparations work, right? You may not have known about her before, but you definitely know about her now.
So, Chris, in terms of Sister Camille Moore, do you know if she is, just for our intents and purposes, is she a person who descends from American slavery here in America?
Yes, and also, I think it's important to point out that if you look at the other members of the task force, also, right, the majority, I believe, are descendants of U.S. chattel slavery, if I'm not mistaken, with the exception of, I believe, one or two folks, right, Mr. Don Tamaki, and I also believe Mr. Javon Scott Lewis, right. Though that's my guess, right. But the short answer is yes.
Definitely a good pick on the chair. That was a close call. It was actually a photo finish. What was it? Dr. Amos Brown was up for chair at first, and that finished in a 4-4 split. And Assemblymember Joyne Sawyer had to come in and save the day with his originally abstained vote. So that was pretty exciting.
Yes, that was crazy. Oh, I'm sorry, CEO. Go ahead, fam.
Oh no, I wasn't chatting. That was Kim. Go for it.
Yeah, that was an amazing thing to see. And I'm glad us as a lot of us are just coming into politics, right? And community organizing, right? And so we don't always get to see how this works, right? And we also always don't get to be a part of how this works. So to see that play out today, and also see people in the chats, voting for Camilla, and then also to see the dynamics on the task force, right? Who's voting for what and when. I thought that was really interesting to see. But I think that question of who the chair is an important question. It's not like something that you can not take seriously, right? It's an important question, and it's an important question because for a lot of reasons, but not the least of which, right? We're trying to set a national model, right? Look at what example we just set today for what kind of chair, right? Someone who has dedicated themselves to reparations, right, intentionally, right, and then someone who comes from community work, right. This is a great thing for us to see today, and then also a great thing, like I said, to be a part of. And it was good to witness that. And then also for the vice chair, and you see how these things can play out, right? 5 votes, is a majority. All you need is a simple majority, vote, right? So I'll stop here because I know there's a lot more to say.
Yeah, I was actually quite proud of that moment. And I'm happy that this sister is in this position of power, especially on this. This is everybody. Well, most folks on there are highly educated or are right for this council, but just like everyone has said, Sister Moore over here is doing the thing. And so when she got thrown in there, her role moving forward is basically to shepherd this group in the right direction, to hold everybody accountable, to lead, and to make sure our issues are dealt with in an orderly fashion and an efficient manner. We got one of our own, not only on the board but now leading. So I'm pumped for this. I'll be real honest with you.
Yo, I was screaming through the roof, yo. I was screaming out the window. I was screaming out my window when the vote was going on, and when she put her her bid in, right, and then also when she and she was prepared, right? She had a prepared statement, right? No one else did, right? Everyone else had had good words, but like she had a prepared statement. She was prepared. She knew what she wanted, and this was a good thing to see. Like I said, and obviously there's a lot more work to do. And being the chair has its own responsibilities. I think she'll grow into this role, and then excel out of it, and yeah, I'll stop here again.
One more thing I wanted to say was I appreciated the fact that Don Tamaki flat out said, "Hey, I'm not interested in being the lead or the VP or the vice because it should be led by African Americans." I would have loved it if he said, descendants of chattel slavery, but we get what we could get. But I appreciate the fact that even the folks who are not us are recognizing that it should be led by us.
Yeah,
Definitely. What were you gonna say, Umoya?
No, I was just gonna say, shout out to Don Tamaki. As when I was looking at, some of the live footage when I could, he was. I know there was a point in there where, he was even mentioning about, other people chiming in because he was like, I'm familiar with, my particular reparations perspective, but in terms of the African American or descendants of chattel slavery, I defer that to somebody else. So I thought that was, I give Don Tamaki big ups on that.
Right. Some people in the chat, I was switching back between our live chat and the Blue Jeans chat. Some people were like, "Oh, what is this guy even doing here? What's he talking about?" And if you just take the chance to listen, you would see, that he has some experience in the matter. So I think we're lucky to have him on the task force to be able to provide that expertise in actually having gone through a reparations movement.
All right. And before we actually start giving our 2 cents on how it went, I definitely want to give a shout out to the NAASD LA family for representing.
Hey.
And then also, the CJEC family, statewide advocacy group.
Yeah.
Definitely shout out. We've been putting in work for a minute. And also Chris, man, just a little backstory, little fun backstory going on here. Do you remember, man, like when we first started, when we first met and we kind of started talking about this whole reparations talk?
You mean at the event when I got heckled by the crowd?
Yeah, bro. It's crazy, man, to see how far this work, this advocacy work has come, bro. Because I remember it was just a conversation between me and you, and and then I remember us actually, shout out to Kim, actually going to the first hearing of AB 3121 and being there, even in that historic moment. And I think a lot of people who don't believe that, not necessarily that reparations is an owed, but that this government won't pay for the debt that is owed, just will give up, and just will be like, oh, it's never going to happen. I'm not going to get into the fight. This government will never pay it. And to actually go in and be a part of that, man, brother, I just want to give you props and kudos for enlightening myself and others in this movement. And I could say that, I've been doing this for a little bit, even wrote a paper on reparations when I was in college, but to actually see others like yourself, others in the chat, the allies, etc., coming through, this really means a lot, bro, especially to our ancestors who went through so much. And this is a historic moment, regardless if, we're planning on getting in reparations for California, the U.S. on the federal level. But, I just had to, do a little throwback history just to know that, we ain't just, fair weather. We've been doing this for a minute.
Man, yo, you
Yes.
Oh man, you talking that real talk right now, man. And for the people listening, by the way, family, please call in. I'm sure the family will put up the call in information. I called in. All right, you can call in too. All right. Moya, you bringing up some real stuff, and I just want to appreciate you. And well, I want to say thank you, right? And just be humble here and just say thank you and thank you again to everybody else. This is about everybody here, and everybody here has done a tremendous amount of work to get us to this point that we are not satisfied with, obviously, right? But we have to acknowledge, our success and give ourselves flowers when we can still get them, right? And I remember, fam, I remember back, in those first hearings. I remember getting ready for those first hearings. I remember the meetings and the planning and all that stuff that had to happen before those hearings. I remember, a lot of that, and there's more to come, right? We're gonna make a lot of great memories and a lot of great history, right? And I do want to appreciate every single one of you here, and also everyone that's watching and listening, and that will watch and will listen, right? And let me stop there. But brother, I definitely second everything you said, and want to give you some appreciation also.
Yeah, bro. Looks like we got a call in, so let me pick this call up real quick.
Hello,
Kim,
Moya, Chris, what's going on?
What's up, man?
What's up? That sounds like the Citizen Edge.
Citizen
Yes,
Edge in the
sir. Yes, sir.
In the building.
Man. Hey, man, I really appreciate all y'all bringing me on board. Opportunity. It's once in a lifetime, man. I'm in the boat as you all. Conversations growing up as a little child, thinking of this fairy tale land, like that scene from Wakanda, where Killmonger said, "Oh, the sunset," or this little boy in a hood talking about, back home. That's what it feels like, even at this step here. Much work left unfinished, but at this point, makes you want to cry. It's amazing. It's a blessing to be in this position, to be amongst a crowd of people who you thought never existed, who are like-minded people. I thought I was over myself as a little kid. I wish my father could live to see this moment. This step that we've taken so far is much less work to be done. But at this moment, man, it's like a life of work, of speaking out, of fighting, all the arguments, all the debates. Man, it's beautiful.
Hey,
it
bro.
really is.
Hey, Sis Edge, I got a question for you. How many flyers did I have to give to you before you was like, okay, they trying to do a little something?
Hey, man, you guys are real. I'm not gonna lie, man. You show me the light, brother, man. I'm not gonna lie. Like I said, man, it's amazing. It's amazing. You guys do some amazing work. I really appreciate you, Moya, man. It's amazing. It's a blessing you came to my door, brother. I appreciate you.
Hey, man, I appreciate.
I appreciate
you. I definitely appreciate you, brother, and I know you doing your thing. And what people have to understand is, man, like, this is more than a YouTube thing that we're doing. You know what I'm saying? Like, a lot of people think it's just, oh, we're just on here YouTubing it like all day. I mean, we definitely use YouTube as a platform, etc. But this is our life, man. This is what we do. This is what we advocate for. And so, when we have brothers like Citizen Edge, who has his own platform, I mean, this is real stuff, and we just appreciate everybody. We appreciate you, Citizen Edge, coming through with the support, brother. I guess my question to you is, what do you think about the hearings today that you saw?
Well, I learned a lot. Even listening to this piece here, I didn't really know that they were really vying for the position of chair. I thought it was more like an elaborate showing of their accomplishments. So I never heard of Camilla Moore, but this feeling of love she received with the community calling in, Chris, speaking so highly. You know, I never heard of her, but man, I am just as proud as those who fought through the trenches to her to reach this point here. But I thought it was beautiful. I never experienced anything like that. The closest I experienced to this was growing up at the school board meetings when we're trying to fight for African American studies, you know? So this is an eye opener for me, you know, and for our ancestors who fought, who didn't wear the kente cloth during Black History Month, but it went through their veins. It's a part of them. You know, it's amazing stuff. And a lot of history is going to be uncovered. And a lot of things that we've been taught that have been taught to those who cannot relate to adults. The stories of my grandfather who was sold into slavery. My grandfather, it didn't stop when people think it stopped. It continued on well until almost present day. And this type of research, this endeavor to give out what is due will uncover the ugly truth of this nation and this world. So it was an eye opener. It really was this first session. I learned a lot, and I look forward to learning a lot more than anything.
Well, yeah, definitely. We appreciate you, brother. You want to give the family, where you at so they can reach you?
Oh yeah, just Citizen Edge. I do personal safety firearms. I took a back seat to that because even though I have a love for the Second Amendment, man, my love for my people is first and foremost, and I interject a lot of that with my content about protecting our reality as Black people. But you can hit me up, like it's on YouTube. See me on this platform. I'll be in the chat. I'll be every step of the way with my people of getting AB3121, making sure it's a reality. So hopefully I'm out there with you guys one day.
Okay, so real quick before you go, because it sounds like you're out and about real quick. So I just have one more real quick question for you. Is there something that you think we can tie into this reparations movement dealing with the Second Amendment? Because we know our rights have been, that a whole thing is going on, with the Second Amendment with this. Is there something that we can tie in the Second Amendment with the reparations? Or is that just kind of two separate issues?
Yep. No. Everything's tied in. Systemic racism is so intricate that every facet of life, whether you believe it or not, has racist, not undertone, but it's an immersion of that mission to not only disenfranchise, but to have a genocide of the Black family. And the Second Amendment is no different. When it comes to the Second Amendment, Black men, Black people, specifically Black men, adults, have been put in positions where they're not able to obtain a firearm. It goes into other facets. They intentionally put Black people, adults, in a position where they can't vote, they can't have a firearm. Therefore, they have no even abstract power. So gun control is racism. You know about the Mulford Act. It ties it together, everything from sports, from the medical field, financial institutions. There's nothing that has not been touched by racism toward adults. There's nothing.
So, Chris, since Citizen Edge mentioned the Mulford Act, is that something that can be presented to the committee, the AB31 Task Force Committee?
So one, I want to give Citizen Edge a shout out real quick and definitely tell folks, check out his channel, check out his content. This brother does amazing personal safety, firearms safety content that you need to be checking out. And the brother knows what he's talking about and is about his business. So definitely check out his work. Citizen Edge, big shout out to you. Thank you for riding with us today. I saw you in the chat. I know we was going back and forth in the chat on YouTube. Good to be riding with you today, bro. Good to ride in with you. And thank you for all your support. And we will definitely, be obviously making more connections with you, because I think we here in the same area. That's the first thing. And then the second thing is all ideas are open and eligible for consideration, right? So all our ideas or areas of focus or proposals are open for consideration from the public. Okay, and part of our job and part of what we talked about today as a Coalition for Just and Equitable California, part of what we talked about when we called in, right, was that what we expected was that this task force was going to be open and responsive to community voices, right? And that also it would produce reparations proposals, that move us closer to corrective justice, right? But that first part is important, right? And so that first part answers your question, and the answer is yes.
All right, cool. All right, we're going to try to get your YouTube link, Citizen Edge, and post it in the chat before we break out of here, man. But if there isn't anything else, man, you want to say?
I have a quick question for Citizen Edge. Citizen Edge, did you have any idea about the reparations, either initiatives going on, HR 40 or AB 3121, before Yamoya got to you?
No, not at all. I did not know that there was an actual a formal endeavor going about this at all, period. So, man, it blew my mind. I'm not going to lie. It really did.
Okay. Looks like we have a lot more work to do, a lot more recruiting to do.
And I'm going to say one more thing, if I may chime in. That African Americans, and let me correct myself, adults, we are still feeling it. People think it just one it off, right? That's another story, another topic, right? But even to this day, and I'm going to post it, does tie into this, where it's still hindering adults from obtaining basic advantages that they've earned through strictly limiting and really putting ourselves out of touch with when it comes to firearms. I'm gonna post a video soon about that, but it still happens today, and it's not subjective. I'm telling you, it's definitely this work being put in. We've seen it with all these states passing these voting limitations, but it's deeper than that. It's more intricate than that. And I really found out why they really want to get rid of Gavin Newsom. This was it right here. It wasn't the mask. It was this. This was they couldn't believe it. I can only imagine it. As a black man, how I'm moved by this. Imagine it if the shoe was the other foot. If you knew Gavin Newsom, without, as I said, without question, sign this, where this can be a true reality.
I've been saying the same thing.
I didn't know till now, but I appreciate everybody. Thank you, Moya, Chris, Kim. Thank you very much. I really appreciate it. I look forward to listening and learning a lot more. I appreciate you.
Yes,
all.
sir.
Bless you.
Hey, brother.
Absolutely. Thank you, brother.
Yeah, thank you.
Brother.
As always.
The one thing that always pops in my mind regarding guns.
All right. Okay. All right. Yeah, it looks like he left. But yeah, sorry. Go ahead, CEO.
The one thing that always pops in my mind regarding guns and black folks, specifically here in California, is the Black Panthers. And we know that the one, if not the only time, the NRA came out in force for gun control is when the Black Panthers started showing up with their guns. And California used to be an open carry state. Right now, it currently is not. And it was specifically to shut down the Black Panthers. Like, the fact that folks no longer have that ability is due to racism and nothing else.
So CO, would you have a recommendation regarding Second Amendment for the California Task Force?
I've always wanted that open carry to be overturned because it was clear racism. But beyond that, to be honest, I would have to defer to someone like Citizen Edge who is deep in that realm. I am proud member of America. I own guns. I support it. I think folks should always be educated around guns, regardless of whether you own them or not. But to get into like the laws and suggestions, I would defer to someone who certainly has more experience in that.
Yeah, in the Mulford Act, I mean, that was just obviously straight racism. You know, that was passed exactly after the Black Panther Party for self-defense did what they did in protest. Exactly after that. So that just goes to show you, you know, our experiences, you know, Black Americans, chattel slavery, just what we've been through just to be American.
Yeah. It's like we can't win when you can just change the laws, right? When they're in control to the extent where any bit of us trying to take control of our neighborhoods and our own safety, just have to sign some piece of paper and all of a sudden it's all gone. And everyone's rights, because of the Black Panthers, everyone's rights in California was taken away.
Yep.
I shouldn't say because of the Black Panthers.
And
Because
I'm not going to be. Hey, see, I want to say one thing on this too, because I think you're one, like you're saying everything I want to say right now, and I want to add to this one layer, right? Let's also think about, as we're thinking of, you know, in terms of like, you know, ideas here for what reparations could look like in a number of different ways, but like in terms of safety, right? Right. And, but also like community safety. What were the Black Panthers actually trying to do? Like, why were they carrying their guns? Right. What were they trying, what community purpose or service were they performing? Right. What were they trying to accomplish in terms of safety? Right. So let's also think about that too, right? It's not only about whether or not we are empowered to personally arm ourselves, but it's about community safety now too, right? Because we're talking collective work here, right? So what does that look like, right? What does that look like, or what are the ideas? What do the ideas look like that come from that kind of approach to safety, personal safety, but also community safety?
And just to interject, Chris, let's not forget about the free breakfast programs that the Black Panther Party had even before, you know, the state started providing free breakfast programs to the community, right?
That's where the state got it from. They got it from the Black Panthers, but they don't talk about that.
Of course not.
So yeah, I think we should definitely, if possible, family out there, you know, talk about the Black Panther Party. You know what I mean? Like, I know this is geared predominantly towards, you know, how enslavement in this country affected, you know, our ancestors up to this time, but I think that should definitely be, you know, thrown in the record. Just my humble opinion.
Yeah, I would be, and listen, for the folks out there watching and listening, and who are going to watch and listen on the playback, because this is live. The idea here is to get as much of this kind of thinking and idea making and you know, strategizing around what this could ultimately look like from the public as possible, as much of this as possible, right? And so if you have ideas, I know the task force was saying, you know, today that you could always email your comments to the task force, right? And we'll get you the link to do that. But you can also send some of that comment this way, right? We want to hear those comments, and we want to present those comments and relay those comments to the task force. We see our role here as helping the community's voice get to the task force and helping the community actually be open and responsive, like we were saying. But these ideas, absolutely, right? Like this is great. These are things that we need to raise with the task force, because it's not okay to say they don't talk about it or they won't talk about it. No, now is the time, right? Like, now is the time to talk about it. And in terms of the Panthers, one, big shout out to the work that they did, and big shout out to them. We stand on a lot of their work. We stand on the shoulders of some amazing Panthers and some amazing civil rights activists and some amazing, you know, folks in the 40s and 50s and 30s and 20s and 10s, and we stand on the shoulders of folks like, you know, and I'm gonna blank on her name, and now I'm not gonna blank anymore because I got it. Callie House. Okay, folks like Callie House. All right, who was fighting for reparations as a she just sort of slapped me in the head back. My ancestor just sort of slapped me in the face right there. Right, Callie House, who was herself born, I believe, enslaved, and then began to fight for reparations. And shortly after, the technical emancipation. Right. So we stand on a lot of people's shoulders, and now's the time to tell California's history, and that involves the Black Panthers. So we got to talk about it.
All right, fam. Well, we're 45 minutes in. Should we go around the table, the digital table, to give commentary on what we thought about today's meeting?
Sure, absolutely. And for the folks out there watching and listening again, I'm sure the family will put up the call-in number. We do want to hear from you too, right? And that's in the comments and also in the call. So if you want to call in, please do call in. And also remember that we do this every week, every Tuesday, 9 p.m. We do this or something very close to it, and we always have a really awesome political show, and we always have some really awesome political talk. And we do this 9 p.m. on the West Coast, so it's more for a California audience, but it's definitely for you if you want to catch the replay and catch the watch back. So join us every week, and yeah, let's go around and definitely take some calls if there are.
All right, so Ken, would you like to start first? Or what you thought about the AB31 task force today?
Well, I think we have some good choices there. Dr. Amos might have to rein him in a bit. Glad to see him in the second seat rather than the first seat. But I was really hoping that Assembly Member Joan Sawyer would have gone for the vice chair seat. He said some really, really good things. One of the things he said was that reparations was a chance for, America to reset. And I absolutely agreed with that. So it looks like he's going to be good in that position. Dr. Cheryl Grills, she's the psychologist, or she deals with mental health, right? I believe.
Let's see. Did
Professor Loyola?
Yeah, she's focused on race, stress, and trauma. Yeah.
Right. So, she talked a lot about the post-traumatic slave. So she was really spot on with that. Sounded like a lot of her proposals wanted to be towards mental health. The chat kind of went crazy and was like, cash payments. We don't need mental health programs. But, that is actually, it's very intertwined. So I thought that was an interesting statement from her. And she also said that she's her ancestors' wildest dream. So the fact that she invoked the ancestors into the conversation, I thought that was, a good move, since that's what we're there to talk about. Really going to have to drill them down on specificity as far as descendants of slaves and who the rightful heirs are in this case, because I think people are still, I don't know if scared is the word to say it, or just kind of trying to dance around the issue, but not a lot of full-throated, this is for the descendants of slaves. So like to hear a lot more, specificity talk from the task force.
All right. What about you, CO? What are your thoughts? What you did happen to see?
Yeah, I definitely co-sign a lot of what Kim was saying. I unfortunately was doing a lot of work today, so I caught the beginning and then bits and pieces. I have to go back and watch it. But from what I caught, I am happy of the folks who landed there. Of what was discussed, it's a lot. like I mentioned prior, like at first I was against having the study and just being like, hey, y'all just need to cut some checks already. And now even more so, I am excited about this because there's the opportunity, as Citizen Edge pointed on, that racism has touched every single solitary industry, every genre, every state, every like everything. And so to have professionals and to have money and access to really dig into that and get an understanding of like how racism is drenched in everything that we do, um, I think will be pivotal in convincing the naysayers that we actually need reparations. And to your point, Kim, like talking about mental health and such, um, I think it should absolutely be a part of it, because one of the things in my personal like movement towards abolition is like recognizing the like white supremacy that is in my head from being raised in this, even though I'm not white, even though I don't believe white is right, like I don't subscribe to that line of thinking, but I was raised in a racist society, so I am affected by it. And it does paint some stuff, and you have to scrape that out. um, so this task force is literally going to give more fodder, on top of the existing books, on top of the existing stories and such that we know, and the statistics. This is going to just be so much more. So I'm excited. I'm glad that it's going to touch so many different areas, because it's literally everything: sports, laws, guns, education, like money, housing, like literally everything. So I'm excited. I'm going to go back and watch the entire thing so I can
Well,
chat and
ETM got you
yeah,
covered on that on the stream
yes.
there.
All right,
Shout
fam.
So
out.
Yeah, fam.
So,
We actually have another call in right now, so let me pick this up
all
real
right, all right.
quick.
Put that.
All right, caller 323 in the building.
What's up, fam? This is Chad in LA.
Big Chad, what's up,
what's
brother?
up,
Hey,
Chad
Chad.
Boogie?
What's going on? What's going on, family? I appreciate the discussion. I just wanted to call up, tell everybody, this, because I've been floating ever since today, right? Like I've been on cloud nine after the AB3121 meeting today, and so just wanted to call up, just fellowship with the fam a little bit, give y'all flowers, because I've obviously seen y'all in the trenches doing the work for years now, and this is a good win, and I think that we all just need to take a little time, enjoy this. But there's a lot of work. I've heard it said multiple times. There's a lot of work still to do. But I know, watching this team and how people have evolved and formed and come together, I have no doubt in my mind that we're going to win this thing. So that's the way I look at it. And this meeting today, I went in not expecting much, just given kind of the history of what we've seen out of these types of meetings and convenings. I felt like we came out, we couldn't ask for a better result. I mean, we got a chair who is squarely on the right side of history. We've got, voices on that commission that have heard us, that are listening to us. I at one point heard somebody say, "Hey, we've all read From Here to Equality." I mean, that right there is stunning and incredible. We've got expert testimony from obviously the national experts and William Darity and Kirsten Mullen. I left that meeting, I came in with not high expectations, and it was more than exceeded, at the end of the day. So I just wanted to call up and thank y'all, fam, for everything that you've been doing, all the work you've been putting in on the ground. The videos have been incredible. The marketing, the street team, everything that Moya, Kim, CO, Chris, everybody up in the Bay. I could be here all night calling names, because you guys are the reason that this movement is movement. And so, take pride in that and know that you're standing at a moment in history that's unprecedented. And it's on us right now. Like, our ancestors are walking with us right now, and they're smiling at us, and they're saying, y'all keep pushing, y'all keep fighting, y'all keep going, and we're going to win this thing. So that's really what I had for y'all.
Hey, appreciate you, man. And
Man,
Thanks,
you gonna make a
Chad.
grown man cry, man. But
Thanks,
chill,
Chad.
man. Chill,
And
bro.
I heard y'all going down memory lane a little bit, right? And so I remember first meeting Chris, right? And it was like at a town hall, and
Oh, man.
for those that like 2 years ago, right? And for those that don't know the history in LA, right? When we first started meeting in LA, it was basically just a group of people in a back room. I mean, it's literally what you read about in civil rights history, right? It's like a group of like-minded folks coming together in a room and just talking about, hey, what are we going to try to do here? What are we thinking about? What do we see? That was 2 years ago. And flash forward now to, we've got a statewide group. We've got localized groups all throughout the state. We've got a national group and chapters that are forming in every major city. And we've got, Black people on a mass scale talking about reparations and collective uplift. I mean, I didn't think I'd see this in my lifetime. And so y'all know I talk about how much I love y'all all the time because I truly do. I truly do. And I want you to understand that, you're not just working for yourselves. You're not just working for people around you. You're working for the past. You're working for the future. And this is a fight that I think all of us recognize we have no choice but to be in. We have no choice but to win. And I know, because I've seen it. I've seen the work that everybody's putting in. I've seen the hours that people are, you guys are up at 9:55, still talking about AB3121. That's special in our community. We weren't doing this. We weren't having political conversations in the middle of the night, right? We were talking about, what we're going to do before the club or after the club kind of thing, right? So this is a change. This is a sea change in our community. And I'm just proud to be among y'all and to see it happen because this is going to change our history and our trajectory. This is it. This is it. So I love the brother that came on talking about Second Amendment rights because that's something obviously we have to center and we have to be aware of because, not all of our pushback is going to be nonviolent. I mean, we got to be honest about that as well. So, anyway, that's it for me. But Chris, brother, I just wanted to also, personally thank you. Since that first time coming together, you have been just a soldier, and just I can't even put into words, man, how much I appreciate you and everything that you've done and sacrificed for all of us. Selflessly.
Likewise, brother.
Yeah,
brother, I love you. And I love every single one of us here who's working on this, and I love our people, bro. And I think, and let me give you your flowers too, man. Like, and again, what we're doing here is we giving people their flowers while they can still smell them, right? But we are very, very focused and very, very clear that we got a lot more to do, right? And that we are, but we're doing this, one, because we're supposed to do it, right? And then two, because this also gives us the kind of fight and edge and sharpness we're going to need and energy we're going to need to really go forward, right? So I want to make that clear, but I do want to just give you some love too, fam. You have been a rock. You have been one of the brightest stars for this work. You have done I think our people a huge service. I think you have done you have honored your family's name in a way that will be forever remembered, and I think that goes for a lot of us here in terms of the work we're doing. But I do want to point you out because we need warriors. Okay, we need people like you, and I am lucky and I'm honored to be working with somebody like you. And grown men can show other grown men love. Right? Ain't nothing wrong with that.
Absolutely,
right?
man. Absolutely,
so,
yeah.
In public, all right, because this is live. All right, but
we definitely love the work you're doing out there in LA.
Yeah.
Please drop your link in the chat. Chad, for the work that you do with Politics in Black. You guys put together some amazing shows with some amazing guests. Very informative.
Phenomenal work, man.
Absolutely, yeah. And I mean, you guys can check out the YouTube channels NAASDLA. I think I dropped it a little bit earlier, but I'll drop it again in the chat when it can chat here. But yeah, Chris, man, I appreciate that. You know, everything I do for us, and because I love us, and I know how great we are. Like I think everybody in this movement understands that our current condition is a result of what we've been subjected to. It's not indicative of who we are. And so that's why I'm in this, because I want to see us, you know, shine the way we're supposed to shine, and do the things that we're supposed to be doing, and be full citizens in this country, because I know that's only going to improve the country overall. I mean, as we rise, you know, we're going to lift all of what's around us. It's been proven throughout history. So that's why I'm here, man. I'm here for y'all, and I'm here because, you know, the people around me, I look in their eyes, and I see the greatness, and I want everybody else to see it on the world stage. So, you know, I appreciate everything you're doing, man. Keep doing it. I know, you know, we're gonna be on the conference calls, we're gonna be on the Zooms, and we're gonna be still working, you know. But tonight, I just wanted to call up and just show my appreciation for, you know, your team, everything that's being done, the team in LA. You know, big shout out to Camilla Moore. I mean, I actually had a conversation with Camilla, and I was like, hey, we can get the chair. That's great, but maybe we should try to go for vice chair, right? I was like, we might need to temper our expectations for a thing, but, you know, it came through with the chair, and that's huge. That's huge, you know. And so everybody, this was a great day. This was a great win. You know, love y'all. Enjoy it. You know, have the libation of choice that you like tonight, right? And show up tomorrow ready to go some more, because we got a long road still ahead of us, and a big fight.
Facts.
Well,
all right, Chad.
All right, Chad. Thanks for calling, brother. Appreciate you.
Good night, bro. Good night.
Fam.
And
Good
big
night.
shout out to Friday too, also with Politics in Black. Make sure y'all check out the channel NAASD LA, NAS LA, Politics in Black. Check it out, yo. I think it's the last Sunday of the month, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, we kind of all over the place right now, but we doing one show a month. Next one's gonna be on June 13th. I think we're targeting. So, you know, we try to do something. We're gonna do something around Juneteenth, but it just was a packed schedule. You know, this is 1 year coming up for us. I looked around like, whoa, you mean we've been doing this for a year already?
Congratulations,
right?
man.
Yeah, man. Thank you, man. Thank you. I mean, this, you know, I never thought it'd be me, right? But here we are. So,
do you
know, we're going to keep on pushing. We're going to keep on fighting.
Do you guys have a show topic for June 13th? You guys still working on it?
We're still working on it. We got a couple things in the hopper. You know, we've been trying to do something on AB3121 pretty consistently. So I think you can expect to see something there.
Okay.
But, you know, there's you know, I've had conversations with folks, and, you know, we got a lot to talk about, right? Like our community, there's, like, you know, from 2A to healthcare to, you know, land to environmental racism, all, you know, every aspect of society we need to talk about and deconfederatize and wash this racism up out of it. So there's lots of conversations to be had. So, you know, and if you feel like there's any topic you want us to cover, you know, I'm always open to that too. Friday's open to that. Our production team, you know, float the topics to us. Let us know, like, hey, you know, did you guys see about this? And Chris, you know, shout out to you for putting the Burgess family on my radar as well. You know, that helped me out with the research for the last show we did on land robbery. You know, so all those things, you know, I believe in learning from everybody, right? And I believe everybody has something to offer. So please never hesitate to reach out to me. I answer the phone. Chris will tell you, I answer the phone. I answer the email. You know, you can talk to me. So, yeah. Anyway, guys, you know, y'all have a good night. Check us out if you can on June 13th. And, you know, I'm going to be supporting. I'm going to be here.
No, Steph. Thanks,
Good night, fam.
Thanks, Chad.
Yeah.
All right, peace.
Fire.
Right. Heard from
man.
The fam. That's one. So we're an hour in. Could we give? I know CO she gave. Is there anything else you wanted to say, CO, before we give it to Chris?
Nah, let Chris jump on in there.
All right. So we're out.
Let me get in here and let me get in. And let me get out too, because I want, I don't want to keep the family too long. But one, I want to appreciate everybody once again, from Umoya to Kim to CEO, Chad for just calling in, Citizen Eds. Definitely check out their channel, Citizen Eds and Politics in Black. Excuse me, their show, Citizen Eds and Politics in Black on NAASD LA channel. Definitely, I want to shout out everybody who's listening and watching, and who listen and watch today, especially if whether you had to pop in and pop out the meeting, either you came in the beginning and then you had to leave, vice versa, whatever. Everybody that made public comment, everybody that tweeted something, everybody that talked about it today to somebody, right? Everybody that's gonna talk about it later on this week, everybody that's gonna tweet, everybody's gonna listen. I want to shout out everybody, because this was an everybody day. And that's the first thought about the meeting. The second thought about the meeting, and I want to make this within a minute or two, is one, I want to touch on something that CEO touched on, which is the topic about, and this came up in the meeting. This was an important point to have discussion on. I'm glad the task force had discussion on some important points today. Who should be the chair, but more broadly, what should the chair look like, right? Where what qualities do you want in a chair and in a vice chair? Also, how long should this task force take? How long should this process take? Also, what should be the structure of this? How should this look? Should we have one part that is only for the storytelling and the truth and the all that stuff, and then we have the other part for the remedy, right? Which is what they were proposing and discussing today. Right? What's the structure? What should be the content of the meetings? How many meetings? All this stuff, that was talked about today. I'm glad we showed today how to raise important points for how this task force and this kind of thing should look, not just here, but when we take the next step to the national level. That's the second thing to say. Well, let me make my point actually on it. I think we need the part for bringing it together, the stories, to telling the stories, to gathering the evidence. I think we need that part. I think we need that part a lot, because we, one, have a lot of work to do to build support for reparations in our own community. And then we also have a lot of work to do to build it outside of our own community too. That's just like empirically, like factually true, right? Like that's just what the facts say on the ground, right? So that's going to help us do that if we have that time to do that, and we have the resources and we have the support to do that. I think that's in our favor. And I also like the fact that we have a chair and a vice chair too. And I want to shout out Mr. Amos Brown here. He was on point and on. You don't need to, paralysis of analysis this to death. Okay, he was on point there, and Chair Moore was on point there too, right? And so I think we have a good balance, and I think that means we're going to get where we need to go. And then the last thing I want to say is, and so much for making this short, right? I'm an organizer. We like to hear ourselves talk. So the other thing to say, last thing to say is, let's keep thinking about this as a model, right? For how, and let's keep thinking about how we can set a good example for what happens at the national level. And then outside of your question, you Moya, I just want to say, fam, if you want to get connected to this effort, if you're here in California and you want to get involved, right, in being a part of what this task force does, and you want to get involved in helping to make this have a good outcome and make sure that the task force is open and responsive to community voices and also makes good reparations proposals, then connect with CJEC, right? CJECofficial.org. You can connect with ARCC here if you're in the Northern California area, at our Facebook, Twitter. I think we're on Instagram also. CJEC is also on Facebook, Twitter. I think they're on Instagram also. If you're in the Southern California area, connect with the NAASD LA team, or connect with the CJEC team wherever you are in California and outside of California too. We have a line and an email set up right now, an email blast set up right now that you can subscribe to that will get you alerts and updates for what's going on with this task force. We're also taking your public comment, right? And we would love to share that with the task force. So you can send that public comment to one of the ways that you connect with us, either cjecofficial.org, or you can email us at, I believe my fam will put up the email address, but I believe our American Redress Coalition Gmail is American Redress Coalition at gmail.com. And then the CJEC official one is up there, CJECofficial@gmail.com, or hit us up on social media, okay? Or find one of us. We're so reachable on social media, right? But connect, get involved, right? Get involved. This is your turn. This is your time. I'll stop there.
All right. Thanks for that, Chris.
Yeah, activism is for everyone. So you, Dr. Amos Brown was on point. Can't wait to get that watering hole popping, huh? No, but for real, I think we have a good task force there. And you, Yamoya, your takeaways?
Well, first of all, I was popping in and out, so I have to watch the full, video. But from what I did see, I was actually quite impressed, of the task force. I think one thing that we probably need to ask the task force is, I know they did mention in terms of outreach for the community, but since we've been on the ground, when we went out to the Black Expo, I mean, a lot of people just didn't know about AB3121 at all. Like nobody. I know people that sometimes I run across, I say, hey, do you know about the AB3121? They're like, I have no idea what that thing is. So, I mean, my thing is like, what, are they doing to make sure that the word gets out, and if they're not doing, because they have access to, they have state, wide access. And if they're not, going to do anything, then they need to solicit to individuals like, Amend the Mass Media Group. They need to solicit to, Politics in Black, NAASD, LA, other platforms, even shout out to, to Angela, Nirvana, the Reparations. Like they should be, even, some of the local, newspapers, across the state that are predominantly Black owned or that talk about Black issues, to get the word out. And so we can help with this. Because it's a shame that, this is making history, and especially Black people have no clue what it is. So that's just my 2 cents on
All
it.
right. Speaking of questions, if you guys want to take a minute or two, maybe look at some of the questions that the audience had to ask the task force today, see what they'll be concentrating on. All right, let me just scroll down here. All right, can everybody see my screen? So let's see. Friday Jones asks, how do we email public comment? Yeah, Chris, if we can share that email out. They said it would be on the last slide, but I did not see an email address on the last slide. I saw a couple of website addresses. Maybe you go to those website addresses and the email address is there. So I'm definitely interested in that. Then we had another question. What is the process to add more experts if need be? Has everyone read From Here to Equality? So let's get meeting dates without adjournment to get the work done. The outline is very significant. So it sounded like in order to get around that 10 meeting minimum that they want to expand some of the meetings out further, so that it just at the end of when they meet, they would not adjourn and they could come back the next day. So meetings can last at least 2 days. And then people in the comments were saying that meetings can last up to a week. So we will see how that pans out. Can DOJ share all 10 meetings as proposed to even see if more topics need to be interjected? How often does the task force meet? If there are 10 public meetings, perhaps commission and public should make suggestions on what those should look like. It starts with state authority and budget and past authority. How does the public recommend experts? It's been asked multiple times, but I think it should continue to be asked. What will the outreach be to educate people as the commission goes along? Because this will undoubtedly be funneled off into a CRT debate, critical race theory. How do you intend to fight against those claims? We have another question. Has the DOJ provided a list of all California state departments and their existing budgets and what they do? Does the commission want to take a beat to propose a timeline to compare to DOJ? Please provide funding so that the task force can develop PSA along the way to educate people. Are social scientists like author of The Black Tax going to be asked to quantify harm? Much of the stories and lived experience live with the everyday people who have passed the stories from one generation to the next. How will this body move to engage those people? Is there any way that findings from this report can be used to determine short-term fixes that alleviates immediate stress until the larger solutions are proposed? So what is the marketing budget to build engagement, particularly from the pro-reparationists? Because so much data does exist. Have existing reports been cataloged for access by the DOJ? Let's see. I think I lost my space there. Okay, let's see. A little bit down here. Okay, DOJ. Okay. How committed is the commission to explore all California departments to find recommendations for repair? And is there any works being done to increase the bipartisan support in this legislation? The bill says, C, the task force shall submit a written report of its findings and recommendations to the legislator no later than the date, that is 1 year after the date of the first meeting of the task force. How can that be delayed under the law to 2023? Will the recording and the presentation be available? Please provide a transcript of all questions as well as answers to the attendees. So quite a bit of engagement there. I'm just going to stop sharing my screen.
Shout out to Friday.
That's fire.
Woo! Friday was on one, boy.
Yeah, Friday was spitting bars in that chat that she came with the fire, public comment. That was, fire.
That was straight fire. Straight fire.
So great job, everyone.
Excellent job. Everybody, kudos to everybody. Pat yourselves on the back because it's a historic moment. We should definitely celebrate this moment because, I know a lot of us didn't even think we'd even get to this moment. And it's funny, when people say, well, I don't know about that reparations, but if it comes, I'm going to get that check, though. So, it's just funny how people are like that. You know what I mean? So, yeah. But it's all good.
It's always a small amount of people who do the heavy lifting, but the majority, come up off of it. And that's how it be sometimes. From what I'm told from the elder generation, it was the same way in the civil rights. Now everybody looks back and was like, oh yeah, I was out there getting hit by hoses and bit by dogs, and not everybody was. But everybody's like, oh yeah, I want to be free. So it's the same thing. We do that work. Some folks are called to it, others are not. So I'm happy to be walking with these folks on the call, folks calling in on the line, everybody doing the work.
Yep. Yeah. For sure.
I'm just like, how can I serve? We are definitely on the road to reparations, and we will take you out with a little boots on the ground street team video. Elder Howard Rideoff, I believe his name is. Forgive me if I'm mispronouncing that. But yeah, we need to get the message out as far and wide as possible. So peace, fam, love, and of course, reparations. What's your name, sir?
My name is Howard Rideoff.
Could you spell that for the camera, please?
Howard or Rydolph, or both. Howard, Howard, Rydolph, Rydolph.
Okay, Howard. Are you familiar with AB 3121?
No, I'm not. I think I kind of heard about it, but I didn't get into the details about it.
Okay, AB 3121 is the task force to study and develop reparations for African Americans here in California. There's a 9-member task force that is seated and sets to start meeting on June 1st. What are your thoughts on reparations for African Americans?
Oh, well, I think I've supported 100% because we built this country and weren't paid for it. You know, we were brought here, turned into slaves, my people, and we worked. We did a lot. We did everything. We did the agriculture in the South. We picked the cotton. I know my people did in Texas. We picked the cotton. We built Washington. We built this country. You know, we also helped build the railroads.